Big welcome to you to the AMYWC Yoga Wellness Center. First of all, this is a project of AMYWC. AMYWC is an international yoga organization. It's a very big organization in most countries of the world. It's existed since 1955. It is, of course, teaching yoga and meditation, and we are engaged in many different types of social work, catastrophe relief work, as well as permanent relief services almost every single kind of service that you can think of, all kinds of schools, kindergartens, and so on. And it's a non-religious organization. That means that we are not teaching any belief system. People of all different religions and no religion, they can all do our practices. We're doing natural therapy, pure classical natural therapy. We are avoiding the use to a large extent, to mostly the use of medicines of any type. Occasionally we may use some herbal medicines when we can see it's really necessary and important. We understand that the source of almost all of the chronic problems that people have, and for that matter, almost all of the health problems that people have, they're due to lifestyle. And based on lifestyle, we can also we can heal through lifestyle means. And almost 100% of the cases that come to us, they get radical improvement. And if they're here long enough, then they can even become cured. It doesn't mean that you go back home and you start eating all kind of rubbish and do all kinds of nonsense things. But rather, here's a place to learn a really healthy lifestyle that you can practice for the rest of your life, because what we would like is that you don't need to come here again. If you like to come, we very much welcome you, but we prefer that you learn so much, you become so healthy that you don't need to come again. And I've given lectures to many medical schools, doctors and nurses. Usually they get a big surprise within the first few minutes. They turn around and they say, why isn't this material taught in our university? It would be so valuable. Well, one reason is it doesn't make money. It doesn't have the support of the pharmaceutical companies who are funding the colleges. Nevertheless, there are many good things in Western medical science, but the basic science is very different. Here, we have an understanding that disease, what is commonly called disease, is actually a good thing in that the body is making an effort to heal itself from the real problem. The real problem is not that mucus is coming out of your nose, because that's trying to carry the toxins out of your body. The real problem is not that you have headaches, which in 90% of the cases is due to stomach disturbance, means that the problem is in the stomach, not in the head. The real problem is not that you have a tumor in your body. So the real cause is that there is waste product inside of the body which shouldn't be there for more than a short time. It should go out in your stool, in your urine, in your sweat, or through your breath. These four means, when they are not sufficient, then the body is going to switch to some more radical means of detoxing itself, or of notifying the body that there is a problem, or of storing the toxins in the body so that they won't go on infecting and polluting the bloodstream. Any of these three kinds of techniques the body will use. Here, we can easily cure, and we are easily curing, or we're easily radically improving diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, cancer, although we prefer first, second stages, heart disease, when people have insomnia, which is surprisingly easy to deal with. So almost all the chronic diseases that you can think of, we're dealing with these problems and we're getting a good result. Now, how do we do that? You take the case of sinusitis or asthma. The person has congestion in their lungs. They have congestion because, again, they have too much toxic waste, which is affecting the bronchial tubes. In the case of asthma, the body relaxes very deeply, its energy level is much lower, the bronchial tubes contract, and problem will come at that time. If we clean the person's body out of toxic waste, then the need for mucus to carry the toxin out of the body is going to be minimized or even eliminated. So the key is to detox. Now, how do we detox? The digestive system has two basic systems. One is to absorb nutrition. The other is to clean and heal itself. If the body is kept busy, you're eating food when you don't need it, then it's always busy with digestion. It's always busy with trying to absorb nutrition, to deal with it, to break it down. It has no time for cleaning and healing. So we are doing many things here to assist in detoxification, but the most important thing that we're doing is we are working with your diet. We're making your food extremely easy to digest. Fruits and vegetables are very, very easy to digest. If a person will only eat fruits and vegetables which are not fried, they may be raw, they may be steamed, they may be baked. Raw is better for most people, but not for all. If they are not fried, then they're very easy to digest. And automatically your body will have energy left over to clean and heal itself. If you only take fruit, it will clean and heal more quickly unless you're sensitive to the sugar in the fruit. If you'll only take juices, it will clean and heal more quickly. If you'll only take calamansi water or lemon water, you're going to clean and heal even more quickly. Now, most people, they're not going to be happy just to go on a water fast. So we find what you're going to be comfortable with, and you'll be very surprised how easy it is to do it. It's shockingly easy, and the feeling is so good that people who are afraid to do this for a day or two, after they've been doing it for 2 or 3 days, they say, wow, I want to go on. And I'm talking about in nearly 100% of the cases. Nearly 100% of our cases, when people experience some graduation, some level of fasting, remembering that eating only fruits and vegetables is a kind of fast also, it really feels good. It's important that the food tastes good. This is a difference. Well, this is one of the differences between our center and many other natural healing centers. They may only put you on juices, you're suffering, you do get better, but after that, when you go home, you don't want to continue doing that. We want that you can continue when you go home, so our food should be tasty. Our food may use spices or may not, depending on what people like. And we will teach you. We have cooking classes during the day so that you can learn, even if you never cook, but it's still better you learn about these things and you can mention to your wife or your helper, whoever is cooking. So it's good that you can give them some tips how to do it. So food should be tasty, the atmosphere should be comfortable and fun, and that's the way we like to keep our wellness center. We have nice music playing during meal times and throughout the day and so on. Now, together with this, it's important that you understand certain other things about lifestyle, and we're teaching you here. That's why we don't call the people who come here patients, even if they come with very serious conditions, which is so common. We call everyone students, because you're here not only to experience, experience is the best way to learn. You're here for learning. So, for example, very few people drink water correctly. That means to say they don't drink enough water. They don't drink in the right time water. So these are easy things that we teach you when you're here. You need to have a water bottle and simple, very simple things. Then we're going to teach you about how to do exercise. There are 2 kinds of exercise, and both are important. One of them is the yoga exercise. and the other one is cardiovascular exercise. Yoga exercise is tremendously important because it's working with your hormones, with your blood circulation, with your nerves. It's working with the specific glandular conditions which are at the root of your chronic diseases, if you have chronic disease, or whatever condition you have, if you have obesity, if you have overweight, it's very important that you work with your hormones, with your glands. We prescribe for them individually. Then you practice the yoga exercise. Here you practice twice a day with a very good result. When you go home, maybe you don't have time to do twice a day, but at least you'll do once a day, and that will be okay, once your condition is something better. Then cardiovascular exercise, which may be rapid walking or a little bit of running, or we have a machine that you can pump up and down on. There are different ways of cardiovascular exercise, and they're all good as long as they won't hurt your knees or give you some sort of unhealthy pressure to your skeletal system, etc. So this again, we see your individual situation. Food is likewise prescribed individually according to need, but everybody eats and drinks their juices and foods together. One of the most important elements of our system here is meditation, because disease is never only in the body. Disease in every case is a function, the cleansing mechanisms and the healing mechanisms all have to do with the root problem, which is always both in the body and in the mind. Any problem in the mind is reflected in the body, and vice versa. The state of mind is tremendously important. And there was one woman, she had very, very serious skin problems for 16 years, looked horrible. And she went to countless doctors, she calculated she spent over $150,000 trying to cure it. She came here. It's our program is very reasonably priced. And in one case, the woman went home and she stopped doing meditation. Then the skin problems started coming again. She started doing then she told me, I told her, you shouldn't stop the meditation, your mind is disturbed. She started again, skin problem gone. Forever, ever since. There's another case. She was having stress in her work. I was encouraging her, please change your work, please. But she refused to do it because they thought the family was dependent on the income from it. But finally she had no choice because she had been cured, but the skin problem kept coming back. Then finally she changed her job. The skin problem stopped. She was very happy and she understood actually she doesn't need quite as much money. It was working okay. So here shows how the mind is relevant. Meditation is different than concentration. It is more than concentration. It's concentrating on your innermost self. And when we do that, then automatically our mind becomes much more calm. We need that practice. We need a calming practice every day, better twice a day when you're at home. There's an object of concentration. The object of concentration symbolizes your unlimited potential, your unlimited self. Those who believe in God will say it symbolizes God. Together with the meditation, we do a chanting. Now, for this chanting, we're using what is called a mantra. A mantra is a word or a few words that you concentrate on during meditation. And the reason that we do the chanting is because automatically the mind is going to calm down much more quickly when the mantra, when the object of concentration is out loud. Then the mind gets concentrated much more easily. Plus, there's a joyous feeling that comes in singing. So the instruction that we give to people when they go home is they should do the chanting each time until they get a beautiful feeling, which if they're already feeling good, it might take them 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. If they're not feeling good, if they're feeling very stressed, it might take them 10 or 15 minutes. In other words, the purpose of the chanting is to get a beautiful feeling. That's why we do it. And then we do the silent meditation. So when these two things are combined together, the result is fantastic. Now, some things in Ananda Marga look religious. I'm a monk. I'm a yogic monk. But I'm not a monk for religious reasons. I'm a monk because I serve the society 24 hours a day. This means exploit and utilize me to the maximum, to the hilt. That's what it's saying, not anything else. In the same way, religion means when there is a fixed belief system, God is like this, or God said like that, or this book is the most important. And we respect all of people's thinkings on those things. But we don't have any such teachings in Ananda Marga. This is 99% practical. Practical to make the mind better, to make the body better, to engage in service very beautifully. Besides meditation and yoga, food, exercise, water drinking, we also engage the person to speed up the process in different types of natural therapies. So that means we use mud, which sucks the toxins out of the body, while at the same time cooling the body so that healing blood comes. We use sun in a systematic way. You're in and out of the sun every 10 or 15 minutes. And then you use oil to cool the body, or more commonly, water to cool the body. Depends on the condition that they have. Depending on the condition, we may expose a part of the body, or we may expose the whole body. We use steam bath to bring more toxin out through the skin. We use hot foot bath, which has a similar effect as steam bath, but it has many other benefits as well, for arthritis, for heart trouble, and so on. We use cool hip bath, in which only the portion of your body, these internal organs in this area, only they are under the water. The rest of your body is out and may be covered and kept warm. And that cooling water, it causes more blood to come there to heal, and you really feel it. Then we have a program to cool off the spine, called spinal bath, because there's where maximum nerve pressure is built up. So that is the most relaxing, physically relaxing therapy that we have. For insomnia cases, we may use it in the nighttime. For other insomnia cases, we may use warm cider vinegar bath. Then we have internal colon cleansing, which will increase the effectiveness of all of the food and water, exercise cleansing that you're doing. Always different from person to person. These are not belief systems, these are very much realities. In this way, we have different therapies, and each day we prescribe them for you. At about 6:30 in the morning, you'll do yoga postures. Then 7:15, we have a collective meditation. Then after that, you have some therapy, because we do therapy 3 times a day. Usually that means 2 therapies and 1 cardiovascular program. So after the therapy, finish your bathing, and then you have your breakfast. After breakfast, we have different morning programs. It may be cooking class, it may be an educational video, it may be a discussion, it may be some game that is played, it may be some art program that's there. The morning programs and the afternoon programs, they're either educational or entertaining or just relaxing. Sometimes you go for outings, then another therapy session, wash up, and then we have meditation again. That's the second time meditation. And then we have lunch, and then some resting. You have sufficient time for resting as you like. And then an afternoon program, like we were talking, the morning program. And then, again, some therapy. yoga class, third chanting and meditation, and the evening time after dinner is usually free for you, unless you need some additional therapy, which is very commonly required for those who have insomnia or for any other condition. And if you require massage, then we have masseuse that can be called in. In other words, we've got masseuse on call. At this very moment, this center started in 2005. We have 11 staff. We have 10 full-time staff and 1 part-time staff, not including me, because I'm absent most of the time. And I'm here maybe 30% of the time. They are our medical in charge, who will meet you, diagnose you, she's extremely experienced, will prescribe for you. Your prescription is gradually changing over the time that you're here. We have therapists, male therapists for the men, female therapists for the women. Yeah. And then we have, the staff is, of course, we have a couple of people who are concentrated for the kitchen. I really love the cooking here. And the rest of the staff, cleaning and gardening and so on are there. This center is also functioning as a global training center. That means that people come from all over the country, as well as from all over the world, for 1 month, which is usually around February. And I mention this because A, this is the mother center here, so I think you can appreciate that the people here know what they're doing pretty well. B, we have centers which are doing this work very, very nicely in the United States, in India, in Taiwan. We have graduates of our program in about 15 or more countries, other than that, around the world, in Australia, in New Zealand, in South Africa, in Brazil, in Mexico, in so many countries it's there. So in myself, I have to go to a lot of these places as well to follow up on them as we are developing more permanent centers, as well as just we're doing a lot of service through yoga detox retreats and so on that we're doing in all these places. So you've come to the right place, not only to have a good time, but also to become an even better person than you already are. And we are so happy to enable you, to empower you to do that. That's, to a large extent, the purpose of my life. Thank you.